Hey there, welcome to my channel. Today we are making this Boronia bowler bag. Just a few changes, not too many. Instead of this accent piece being curved, I just made it go straight across. Also, instead of the long straps, I did hidden connectors just so you can see the full panel of the bag. And the slip pocket on the inside, I did the full panel instead of a rectangle in the middle. And last but not least, this bag asks for a binding closure. I didn't want to do a binding closure, so we did it without a binding closure and birthed it through the pocket. I did forget to show you how to close the pocket. I might be able to add that in there. We'll see. But here you go, super cute. It even has leaf pulls, and the inside pocket actually has a fossil pull. So, like, subscribe, let me know your likes and dislikes of the video, and let me know if there's anything that you'd specifically like to see. All right, see ya making the bag. All right, so first things first are the straps. So we'll get our handles and mark our centers. And then double-sided tape. And I'm not going to put it right on the line on our mark because that is eventually where I'll be stitching. So I keep my double-sided tape. Try my best to keep it from where I will be sewing. And you don't want to butt your pieces up on these handles because we will be folding it over a second time, and if you butt them up, then you'll get a wavy strap, so you don't want to do that. Okay, so I have my Teflon foot, and I am using a size 18 needle, I want to say. And I don't think I mentioned it, so my double-sided tape is from whack.com. I will list it in the description box. And this vinyl is actually red vinyl that I got from Joann's. Now, I do not start at the very end because sometimes my straps are uneven, so I have to clip them a little bit and make sure that they're even. And we'll be sewing 1/8 of an inch away from the edge at a stitch length of about 4.5, 5. Like I said, with a domestic, it does vary. This is a high performance machine. It is the Juki TL18 QVP. So you might want to play around with your stitch length to see what you like. All right, so back stitch. Didn't really need a back stitch there, but oh well. Go across the short end and come down the long end. And then we'll come across the short end, back stitch. And then we'll do the same thing with the other strap. Okay, so now I'm going to be doing a double-sided strap, which means that it's going to be vinyl on one side and fabric on the other side. With your fabric straps, make sure you fold those short ends over, depending on however you measured it or cut it, however long you cut it. But make sure you fold it over so you don't have any raw edges. And finger press, I'll press it with my iron here on the side. And then we can mark our center here. And I'm going to mark with the pencil on the fabric. And then we'll, what I'm going to do is I'm going to press both sides to the middle. So now that we have that all steamed, you see now we won't have any raw edges for our strap. The strap is 1 inch, but what I like to do is press the fabric piece to about what is it? 3/4 of an inch. Yeah. Because I want a little bit of the vinyl to show on this side. So put that to the side and then we'll mark our center for the vinyl. Okay, so for this strap, I am going to butt the ends together. I only did one piece of double-sided tape, so we'll see. I need to get a wider double-sided tape because this is a 1/4 inch, and I think 1/2 inch would be great. Okay, so now we are going to clip the fabric piece. Okay. So we're going to still be at that basting stitch length, which will be about a 4 1/2, 5. And 1/8 of an inch from the fabric piece. Always try to do fabric side up. Okay, so my fabric piece is kind of hanging over. So all I'm going to do is just unfold it. Fold this down and make sure you catch it early so that you aren't so that you haven't already sewn where you need to fold this fabric up under. Just try to catch that. And I'm not going to worry about taking my needle out and back stitching and pressing with the iron. I'm just going to finger press it down and keep it moving. Just make sure I fold it down enough. There we go. All right, there we go. Okay, we'll back stitch, and we'll do the hardware for this a little bit later. But now we can go ahead and move on to the main piece. The reason you do straps first, you know for a fact you have a full bobbin, and you don't have to worry about running out of bobbin in the middle of a strap. So we have our panel piece here. Oh gosh, pulling thread is fine. So we have one of our panel pieces here, and then our accent piece. So like I said in the beginning, I just modified this accent piece slightly. But what I'm going to do is I am going to put, you could use a basting spray if you want, but I have some decent double-sided tape here. So I'm just going to put a strip right below, you know, where I'm going to be stitching, because this will be a top stitch. It'll be about 1/8 of an inch from your edge there. So I'm just going to do 2 little pieces here. Get out of the way, hair clips. Like I said before, if you know for a fact your machine does not like double-sided tape, make sure you put it where you know you're not going to be hitting it at all. So, and I have these lines marked where I need to place this. It's like slightly off here. I'm not sure how I did that, but I think it's okay. All right. So we have, I mean, that little piece is going to be in the seam allowance anyway, so it's all good. So I'm going to start here, and I'm going to just baste this in place 1/8 of an inch with the same basting stitch of about 4.5 to 5. And now, oh, I should have done the strap connectors first, because in this, for this pattern, it's usually a longer straps, but I am going to do hidden connectors. So I kind of jumped a step there. So let me put this aside, and we'll do our strap connectors first. We had to get those on. Oops. So marker centers. These we will butt up to the line, because then we're just going to fold it over. Okay, so now I am going to just top stitch the edges of all of these, 1/8 of an inch at that same basting stitch of 4 1/2, 5. Hidden connectors can seem a little complicated at first, but they're not really that hard. I personally like them. Hidden connectors are awesome as well for a print like this, where you have so much going on and you really want to see everything, but you don't want to cover stuff up as much. So these are perfect. So what we need to do is find the center. I'll do a little snippy snip. And I'm just going to take a little pencil here. So it needs to be over here. Make sure here. And then I'm going to mark one inch line where I need to cut. Just making sure that my line is going to be straight. And I will find an X-Acto knife and cut, slice right where and make sure you have a sharp X-Acto knife, because you don't want to have too many frayed edges. And what I might do is come through with some fray check right here. Just be careful not to cut your gap too wide. I think I need a little bit extra. And be careful not to cut yourself. So, yeah, what I'm gonna do is get some fray check. I actually just got like a little bit of liquid fusion. And I'm going to, because it's fabric, you know, that fabric can fray a little bit. So I'm gonna just dab a little bit here. It's actually the first time I'm doing this, so yeah. I've never done hidden connectors on a fabric, so this should hopefully go over well. I'm gonna go ahead and do the other panel real quick. Okay, so we'll get the first panel. We're going to get one of our connectors, rectangle rings or whatever rings you're using, D-ring. Actually, we're going to slide it, connector through, wrong side up, okay? So the wrong side, that seam, is facing up. We're going to stitch on the top, so right here, above the slit. I'm going to lower, make sure I have it in straight, my stitch length to constructive length. This won't be seen. And you can do extra security back stitches if you want. That's up to you. And I'm actually not going to speed through all 4 of these just so you can kind of get that explanation, get the understanding down. So we're going to put it through our rectangle ring and then slide the other end through that slit here. Then we'll push this fabric back up, and now we're going to top stitch right there. And so I will switch it back to that longer stitch. All right, so we have our first connector on. And I'll probably, let me get my thread zap. Use your thread zapper, get as close as you possibly can to snipping, getting that thread cut. Now we'll go ahead and do that 3 more times. I'll explain, I'll explain this one and then we can speed through the other 2. So I'm going to slip this connector through, and there's no like oh, I need to cut that a little bit more. There's not a specific measurement to how far down you put it, just enough, but make sure you have enough to be able to pull through the other side. When I do the hidden connectors, I do them 2 inches by 3, so that gives me enough to work with. All right, make sure it's straight. And if I didn't, I don't think I mentioned it yet, but my interfacing is SF101 and Pellon 809. So we'll go ahead, stitch at the very top above the slit. All right. And now we'll slide the rectangle ring through and then pull the rest of that connector back through the slit. All right, so let's use our thread zap. So you can see you have your connectors on, and now you can see almost the whole panel, as opposed to having a strap here that's going through a face, you know? I mean, it's really nice, but I want to be able to see everything. So that's the benefit of a hidden connector. So I'll go ahead and do the other panel real quick. Okay, so now we can move on to the accent piece. So I don't know if you saw through the speed of this that I switched my rectangle rings, and that's because it wasn't a matching size. And I'm glad I caught it. Okay, so now we have our connectors on, and we can do the other side of our accent piece. Once again, I'll put double-sided tape on and drop scissors. And get our accent piece on. Make sure to keep that double-sided tape out of where you will be stitching. Okay, so I realized I forgot to interface my bottom, so I had to do that real quick. Now we are going to baste our foam piece in place. We'll clip, clip, clip away. I have some of my foam out of my seam allowance. So, what you can do if you wanted to is glue this in place if you wanted. Because it changed the accent piece and didn't shift it correctly, my foam does not line up all the way, but it's okay. We'll make it work. Now what we're going to do is attach, oh no, we gotta do our interior pieces. So what we'll do is we have our zipper pocket pieces here. Find our center. And then I'll find the center of one of these. So we'll mark our two long lines here, the length of our zipper. Go ahead, switch to a constructive link, and then I will back stitch at the beginning and end of each line, of both lines. And I used a Sharpie just because I can't see pin very well, especially on black. So I am using like a water resistant canvas for the lining. And I don't think I said it. The glue I was trying to use was fabric tack, which is actually a really good glue, but it's at the bottom and it's not coming out. So I ended up just getting that liquid fusion. So now what we're going to do is, when you do your zipper pocket, make sure you're sewing them right sides together. Sorry for not saying that earlier. The snips right here, and I pick up these baby scissors. I will take, I'm just going to fold it together and make a little snip in the middle. And now we're going to go down the middle with our snips. And then maybe like half an inch, depends on what you like. You'll make that dart. Making sure not to cut these stitches. Go down the other side and do the same thing. Now we're going to pull this through so the wrong sides are together. And if you're doing fabric, you can just press right here. But since I'm using this canvas, I need steam. So, and I have to steam from the right side. If you decide to use this, this will melt. So this shiny side, so make sure you press on the rough side. Now that it's steamed, we can put our zipper. How cute is this? I have a fossil pool. It's so cute. My zipper is always longer than my pocket. And then I'll start a little bit further away from the edge. And the reason why is because when you come back around, it's easy to line those stitches up nicely. Now, when you do your zipper, you can take double-sided tape and place it there. I'm not doing all that. I mean, that's probably the correct way to do it, but so I switched it to a top stitch length because you can see the stitches. And back stitch you start. And the zipper pull's not really too much in the way, but I still like to move it out of the way. And see, you're able to line those stitches up nicely by starting a little bit further away from the edge. And I probably need to check my bobbin. Yeah. Down to just a little bit. Alright, so now we're going to take our other pocket piece. Sorry for that loud clank. And you clip it in place. We will not be sewing the bottom pocket. So we'll just do the 2 short sides and the top. Back to the smaller stitch. Back stitch. I'm just going to cut wrong scissors. This excess. You don't want to fill zipper. And then, just seal this real quick. Okay, so that is our zipper pocket. And then we're going to do a slip pocket. Now for our slip pocket, I'm just going to fold this piece over. If you're doing fabric, what you would do is take 2 pieces, sew them right sides together, and then flip wrong sides together and top stitch. But with this, you don't need to do that. And actually, I'm going to switch to my regular foot. So I honestly don't need a Teflon foot anymore. Really only need Teflon foot for the vinyl part. So getting the straps done, vinyl accent pieces done. Don't need it. So at a top stitch length of 4.5, 5, I'm just going to top stitch this down. And then I'm going to go ahead and base this in place. Oh, actually want to fold the bottom piece in so there's no raw edge on the inside of the bag. Don't forget that. If you're using fabric, I believe you actually stitch all the way around except for leaving a little hole to like flip it, and then you'll stitch that down. I'm going to fold this down and do the same thing for the bottom. So with that, you could easily take some double-sided tape, put it on there if you wanted to, but the fold over wasn't, you know, a big enough fold over for me to want to put some tape there. So line this up. And then baste in place. Oops. Whoop. Moved it before. I guess you could have waited until you went to go baste this in place to fold it under, but I don't think it makes a difference. Now, it's up to you. You can leave this slip pocket just one big slip pocket. I like divided slip pockets, so what I'm going to do is find my center. Always find your centers. And do a little stitch to give it a divide. So I'll take my thread zap here. Now we have gusset pieces on this bag. So I've already put them right sides together. You'll go along the top, the angled, and the bottom. You will not go through the back straight. So I did switch to the smaller length. I don't think you have to in this instance. I mean, you're base stitching, but I did anyways. And I need to make my seam allowance a little bit bigger. Pay attention. Nope. There we go. I don't want to lose it. Yeah. Okay. And we have 4 of these, so we'll do all of them the same way. So now what we're going to do is trim the seam allowance. And then at the corners, you want to try to cut like at an angle. It'll help it, the gusset pieces turn out nicer, sit nicer. One thing, quick tip, if you do what I do and press that pedal when you're pivoting, just take your foot off the pedal while you pivot. We'll turn all of these right side out. Tip, I usually have a chopstick in here. I don't know where it is, but you can just use your paintbrush, end of a paintbrush, in order to push these corner pieces out a little bit better. I do suggest pressing these flat just so they lay flat. So now we're going to baste these on right sides together, so the lining right side pieces. Okay, so we'll base stitch about 1/8 of an inch from the edge. I mean, it can be further in, just make sure it's within the seam allowance where you're basting. And you'll back stitch, and we'll have the base stitch of 4.5, 5. We can go ahead and get our zipper, our main zipper, added to our bag. Before we do that, I'm going to establish which side is my front and get my handmade tag on there so I don't want to forget that. Okay, so I mean, it kind of doesn't really matter here, but you know, just figure out which one is going to be your front side. I think because the dodos are like basically right in the middle on this side, I'm going to pick this as my middle. I mean my front. Get my handmade tag. And I'm going to just have it here. My long ruler, so I know I'm actually in the center. I knew that looked a little off. So I'm just going to mark where I need to put my prongs and X-Acto knife. Make sure not to make the holes too big, but going through that foam at the same time. Make sure you don't put it on upside down. I've done that, but caught it before I started fully assembling the back. Come on. Guess it didn't go through the foam all the way. I think it did. And don't go through the struggle bus like I'm going right now. What's really going on here? Wow. There we go, finally. Make sure it's not crooked. All right. Get our little plate on. Hold our prongs back. And then I use double-sided tape. I'm not double-sided tape. Duct tape. To cover the prongs, because after a while those prongs rub against the lining, could tear it up. So to avoid that, to help it last a little bit longer, we put duct tape on to protect those prongs and our lining. Now we can go ahead and get our zipper on. Look, leaf pulls, how cute. I'm so excited about this bag. Quick tip. Since we don't have zipper tabs to stop the zipper from falling off, go ahead and do a little bit of back stitching at the edge of your zipper, and that should help it from coming off while you're birthing the bag or anything like that. Or, well, you wouldn't have to worry about birthing it, but while you're sewing and you're moving your zippers around, so you don't have to worry about them falling off. All right. So now we're going to find our center of our zipper tape. And like I said before, you can take your thread zap if you want and just mark your center there. Or you can just take pencil or pen, whatever you prefer. And it melts it a little bit. We're going to place that center to our exterior here and clip it down. I am going to clip it. You can take double-sided tape if you like. Just because of this curve, it might be a good idea, but my machine is very temperamental. Does not like double-sided tape. So I just clip, clip, clip. And if you're using zipper by the yard, I made this really long. It doesn't have to be that long, but you do want to make sure your zipper is longer, a little bit longer than what you need. It just helps. When you're clipping your zipper, make sure you're clipping it right sides together. So you want to see the back of your zipper. Is baste my zipper in place. Some don't. I prefer to, so I don't have to worry about my zipper slipping when I'm attaching the lining piece. Okay, so now we can take our exterior piece right sides together and clip it in place. That not being attached is not a big deal. It's not going to go anywhere, you know. Another reason why I like to find my front side of the bag is because I like to have my zipper pocket on the back side of the bag. I don't know why. I just do. I just prefer it. So, and now we will sew our piece on at the required stitch seam allowance. I am going to switch it to the smaller stitch length. Okay, so now what we're going to do is flip this piece wrong sides together. And I'm not going to cut the seam allowance because my zipper, oh, I caught the actual zipper there. So we're gonna have to seam rip. Actually, somehow I caught the teeth right there. So you don't want that. How the heck I did that? No clue. All right. Let me fix that and I'll be right back. Okay, so I got that fixed. Now we're going to top stitch. Now here is where you want to make sure you're pulling, pull those gusset pieces out of the way. It's going to get really thick right where those gusset pieces are. So you are going to want to take your time. Even on my machine, it's not. It might give me a little bit of problems there. But we'll make it work. So that basting stitch length. And make sure you keep those gusset pieces inside. Woo! That was serious. Why so serious? Right, so now what I'm going to do is just test to make sure the zipper doesn't get caught on anything, and we're golden. Well, let's make sure the other one. I don't know why it would, but it's always good to check. Sweet. So now what we're going to do, well, let me get my thread zapper. I don't know where it is. There it is. Ha. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and baste our zipper on the other exterior piece. So right here is where I'm going to undo my zipper. Zipper's based in place, so and now we're going to go ahead. Right. Oh, and I don't know if I said, but right sides together when you do the zipper. And now we're going to place right sides together as far as the exteriors. They'll be facing each other. Our center. And just make sure your other piece is moved out of the way. I mean, now the zipper's open, you could just sew it like this, making sure that that piece is out of the way. Oh, and make sure your zipper pocket's open. Your interior zipper pocket. Make sure that is open. Gotta catch yourself. Don't get caught slipping. Okay, so now we'll turn these wrong sides together once again, not clipping the seam allowance because the zipper is in the seam allowance. You cut that seam allowance, your zipper will most likely fray, and then with that fraying, your bag will just fall apart because the zipper, there's nothing for the zipper to hold on to. So double checking, make sure we caught everything correctly. Looks like my seam allowance was off there. Let me fix that. This is why you check. Checkity check. Oh yeah. Right there. Okay. So now I should be good to go. Continue with this bag. Yeah. All right. And now what we're going to do is top stitch. Right here is where you want to watch those gusset pieces. They get super thick. Move slow, take your time. Really? Top stitching. So I ran out of bobbin while I was doing that. Great. All right, the best thing to do at this point is to try and match those previous holes you made. Ooh. Okay. Okay, so what we're going to do is turn these pieces back, right sides together. Both sides. Okay. Then, okay, so now we're going to clip our bottom of our lining together. Okay, then we're going to close the bottom. Make sure everything is out of the way. I'm going to have it at the smaller stitch length here. Make sure you back stitch. And now what you're going to do is pull your zipper in. Make sure you close it past where your seam allowance is going to be. Okay. Oh, the lining's in the way. There we go. Like, what is going on here? Getting all messy. This is the awkward part. There we go. Of the pattern. But it all works out in the end. So I'm just doing both zippers. Getting that lining out of the way. So now we're going to take this, our exterior, and pinch. And I'm going to just clip real quick. Just pinching, lining those edges up. There's some excess foam that's giving me trouble. There we go. And then we're going to take the lining keeping the zipper out of the way. Zipper, stay out of the way. And match it up. So you can see I'm struggling a little bit. I think it's fine. I'm gonna match the lining. Here. Make sure everything lines up. This part is a little bit of a pain. And I gotta get this zipper pulled up. Okay. Now I should be able to flatten this out as best as possible. Just want to make sure your zipper pull is out of the way, because that can cause some problems. All right. And now, oops, we'll go ahead and stitch this down. Okay. Go ahead, trim that excess off. Find that lighter. There we go. And seal the zipper one more time. And then do the other side. Okay, pinch. Come on, zipper. So I think I'm going to unzip the other side. Sounds good. All right. too tight. All right. Oh gosh. I think I did that. So I'm gonna do. Oops. All right, for extra security, I'm just gonna put another stitch link there because I'm pretty sure that I kind of messed up the seam allowance there. We'll cut off the excess zipper here, seal it, and I am going to do that extra security on this side real quick. Okay, so now I am going to check the camera angle. I'm going to birth this bag. Now we can birth this bag through the zipper pocket. Start with the bottom. It's usually the hardest part to get through. So as you're pulling the bottom, you're kind of pushing that lining as well. Getting this through. Okay. Now we're checking our bottom pieces, making sure everything lines up nicely. Push those corner pieces out. Okay. All right. So now we will take the bag, flip it this way. Take our gusset pieces. Zip it up a little bit. Line these up. Right sides together. And so down top stitch length. All right. So now we just turn this back. Push it back. Way back. Push our corners back out. And now we have our Boronia bowler bag. I think next time I'm going to try and do it with zipper tabs, just so it gives that zipper and start and stop. Push our corners out. Okay, now we're just going to rivet our handles on. Ooh, cute, cute, cute. I probably should have done double-sided handles as well, but it's okay. Trim those ends. I'm going to fold it over, fold it here, and actually I won't be sewing anything else, so I can at least move my table out of the way. And I can bring my press over. And get my awl here. And what I like to do is I only use clips here just so I can hold my straps in place. And make sure that they're even. I did clip this one. And then I can rivet from there. Okay, looks good. Let me get I'm going to need to spray this with alcohol. Get this glue off of here that's on there already. And we can rivet. one thing you can do if you're having issues with like getting that rivet through is you can take this little tool here and press your vinyl a little bit to kind of flatten it some. And then I'll rivet and then I'll flatten again. Or poke the hole through, I said rivet, but flatten, flatten. And boom, right through. To the other side. Push. Hopefully that one's not too close to the strap connector. Rivets or pokes a hole, whatever you want to say. Place my rivets on, and now we press. Came loose. Let's not do that again. There we go. Start with this one. What are you doing? Alright, handles are on. Cute, 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 cute. And then we can do the crossbody strap real quick and be done. So what we'll do is we'll put do I want the fabric to show? I think, yeah, I think I do. So we'll put one side through, right side up, and then, come on, bar, through here. And you'll figure out what your length, however long you want this piece to be. We'll put strap through the swivel. And then you'll take, going through the wrong side, where the wrong side is showing, go through and back up down. And then you'll put this through the other swivel. And we'll rivet and done. Now you can double rivet, single rivet, it's up to you. All right, the struggle was real there. But we got it, it's done. All right, press it. And we got a finished bag. And you can just hook it here and then hook it on the opposite ring. And there's your crossbody. So, there's our bag. Thank you. Bye. Like I said, I totally forgot to show you how to close the zipper pocket. And let me do that now. So we're going to pull that pocket out and fold this in, fold it in on itself. You can press it if you want, that's up to you. I'm not going to do that. I am going to clip it. Clip it good. All I thought about was that Whip It song. Anyways, just clipping this in, holding those raw edges in. Going to have it at that base stitch length. Make sure you back stitch, get as close to the edge as possible. All right, now the bag is done. I was just so excited. Now we're just going to tuck it back in. And now we're done.